Good morning and welcome to the porch. We've got a little bit of a treat here today. I got a friend of, just a little over 40 years with me, Gary Goetz, and we've gone to church together for years. We've done a lot of building projects. He's helped me build a house and a shop, and we got a lot of history behind us. Plus, we some years back we started training church security teams together, and so we got to do a lot of that and contribute that into the Christian community. And I was very honored to be able to do that with Gary and to be able to give into our church communities. And we both of us retired from that. We're just, it's time for the younger guys to take hold of this thing. But anyway, Gary, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow. I have to cover 77 years.
Well, we need the really short version.
Well, I was born in Eugene, Oregon, and 1949, and my dad, he ran a sawmill for a while out there, and the point I want to get to there, he went to working at some sawmill, some big Roseburg sawmill or something like that out there. And he, at age 6 or 7, he began to teach me how to use a weapon. He had a 22 semi-automatic 22 rifle, and he of course he lectured me well on the safety and how to handle it and what to do and not to do. And he got me where he thought I was all right with it, and he took me hunting. That was a thrill now. And we walked. He took me. I don't know where we was at. I just know we was walking up a log road, and there was a squirrel ran up a tree, and Dad said, "That's yours. Get him." So I shot. I actually killed the thing, and I think we got 2 or 3 more that day, and we brought them home and get them out, and Mom cooked them. But it was such a thrill for a young boy like me to shoot and get my first kill basically with it. And it has from there. And I might want to add too, we moved back to Arkansas where Dad's family was, and he had 2 brothers that lived in this area that were combat vets in World War II. And Dad had went in, but the war ended before he went in, before he actually got into the any combat or anything like that. But saying all of that to say this, I was trained by combat vets, basically. And
Wow.
They taught me, and I'm telling you, my uncles, they were serious about this stuff. If you carried a weapon wrong, they would be on me like a duck on a June bug. So, with all that said, I've been trained by I've had some good training in my life growing up. From squirrel hunting, deer hunting, quail hunting, what we used to be able to do around here, you can't do it hardly anymore because there's not any quail in the area much. But I'll move on into. I started out when I got out of high school. I went down to vocational technical school at Marlin, Pettigene, Votech, and I took welding. I was really interested in welding, and I got in there, and I just fluffed off going through high school. There wasn't nothing in there I was interested in much, But when I got down there to Votech, I was interested. I gave it everything I had. I was going to be the best I could be at welding. They would take us in and show us a little bit, tell us about what we was going to do, tell us the do's and don'ts. And then they would take us out in the shop and we'd begin to weld. And he would show us, the welder, the head instructor there, he'd show us how to weld. I could see, I watched him like a hawk. I watched him how he moved the rod and I was watching every detail that I knew to watch. And that, I concentrated on that. And I learned how to weld by watching him and his instructions. But every time I'd shut my eyes, I'd see the perfect well.
Uh-huh.
I'd see it. And after you see it long enough, you begin to do it. And with anything in our life that we want to excel at, we apply ourselves in a similar manner. I don't know, everyone may be a little different how they do it, but being proficient with a rifle or a pistol, you have to begin to see yourself doing it before you can actually do it.
Yeah, yeah. And just for the audience, we were out there shooting a few minutes ago, or Gary was more so than me, and he's 77 years old. You're 77 now?
Yeah, yeah.
So Gary's 77 years old, and out of, I think he shot 15 rounds, and he only missed one shot out of 15 rounds. So years of training pays off. And the thing about it is, guys, right here, that I do want to take a second to point out is just because you're older doesn't mean you can't be proficient with a gun. Gary proved that a while ago down there. And Gary also, he was a range officer for us for a few years there, the time we were training people. And he was very good at working with people out there. But I'm going to shift gears here just a little bit now that we got Gary's background. I'm going to get my notes right quick. You guys hang on. Try to stay on track as much as I can. And Gary and I may not do that. We may get to visit, and ain't no telling where we'll end up when this is over with, but we're going to try to stay on track. So, Gary, I'm just going to quickly touch on this. Something you said really caught my attention. Did you say you were 6 years old when you started training with a gun?
Yep.
Listen to that, guys. Can you imagine anybody training a 6-year-old in this day and time? Can you imagine a 6-year-old having the competency to be trained? All I'm saying is this right here, guys. Times have changed, and they've changed a lot. And I don't remember when it was when I first started shooting, but I was carrying a gun on my own at probably 10 years old and actually going out by myself and hunting.
Yeah.
So it wasn't uncommon for young kids to have guns in those days. And guess what? Nobody got hurt. Isn't that amazing?
Carried them to school in our truck.
Carried them to school
Had gun racks on the back window.
And nobody got shot.
Nobody got shot. No guns got stolen. It was amazing.
I can't help but put 2 cents worth in on what he just said there. Carried those guns to school. Nobody ever got shot. Nobody ever got hurt. Did the gun change in the years that we've talking about that Gary and I were in high school? Did the guns change, or did the mindset for people change? I'll let you guys answer that one on your own, but I think you know what the answer is.
Had something to do with their upbringing and training.
It did. And values and morals and things like that.
Yes.
Mr. Gary, I'm going to switch gears here to the gun caliber. I know you're carrying a 9mm. Tell us a little about your gun. Go ahead and pull it out there and show the audience your gun. Tell us a little bit about it.
First of all, it's unloaded. No shells in it.
Safety checked.
This is a CZ C10 5. It is to me, this is my weapon of choice. Mark Anderson got me involved with these things, and he had one, and his son had one, and they let me shoot it, and I really liked it. And so, as you can see, I bought me one, and I had Paul to put a different trigger on it. I didn't like the trigger pull on it, and this one's got a real nice, I think it's a 3-pound, 3.5 pound maybe.
Yeah, I don't remember
trigger.
what we've got that one down to for sure.
This gun, I've shot lots of rounds through it, and it has never jammed, never misfired on me. Now I've had some ammo. It hit the primer, and the primer didn't go off.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only close call to a jam that you could call it. But this is a military grade weapon is what this is. It's Czechoslovakian military, and I just like the feel of it. And it fits well in my hand, and I think that's where people need to find the weapon that fits them.
Yes, I agree.
Better than anything else. You just have to work through it and find it.
Now, how many rounds does that one hold, Gary?
15 in the clip and 1 in the chamber.
Okay, 16
total.
16 total.
Yeah.
Now, I remember back when we were training, you were having a little bit of trouble with your accuracy. Now, and I emphasize a little bit. You
Yeah.
weren't having a lot of trouble,
Yeah.
but you and I had talked, and I had told you if you ever wanted to dial your accuracy in better, you needed to get a gun with a good trigger.
Yeah.
And you did that, and I have to admit, I think his accuracy improved at minimum 25% with that
I'd
gun.
say so.
And well, fact is, we went out and shot here a while back after we trained the group. We did a qualifier, and Mr. Gary outshot me for the first time.
Yeah, first time ever.
So,
but then he did have a weapons issue. Something was wrong with the chambering. It wouldn't chamber the round right.
It was that 10 millimeter Kimber I was shooting, and I was at the place of trying to fine tune that gun, and I had made it. It did mess up on me a few times that day,
Yeah.
but I fixed that gun since. It shoots great.
But the main thing to remember, I outshot you once.
Yeah, that's what's important. You don't have to tell all the other stuff, but you can just remember that one thing, and that's the story you want to tell
That's
right
what
there.
I remember.
So, Gary, the 9 millimeter obviously is your choice for a carry gun, EDC gun. How do you feel about the 9 millimeter as far as its abilities? Do you feel comfortable with that?
I do. The ammo we have nowadays has got the stopping power that you need. Unless a man is cranked up on some sort of drugs, that's what it's CPC and all that stuff, it'll stop him.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, and I'm kind of funny about my weapons. I have several pistols, and you know what caliber they are?
What
9 millimeter.
All of them 9 millimeter.
I like the 9, but for another reason, if I'm getting a hurry, needing ammo, I can go in there and I can just grab a box and not have to worry about it being a 45 or a 10 millimeter or a 38 special or something like that. I just once I got used to the 9, I really, really like them.
I carry a 9. My EDC is a Glock 19X military type gun itself. And I'll be honest with you, CZ, I may own one of those one of these days, but I always wanted one of the 19Xs, and they went out of stock for a while, but I found one in stock finally, and I bought it. But the 9 millimeter, I love the 9 millimeter. It does a great job. I don't feel like I'm inadequate carrying the 9 millimeter. I think it'll do what I need to do. And we're talking about a guy that carried 1911 45s for years.
Yeah.
And so, when you get older, your hands, they don't like that 45 recoil as much. And that 9 millimeter just shoots so stinking soft, man.
It's sweet.
I just shot his CZ there a few minutes ago, and that gun just shoots true blue. If you mess with that gun, it's you.
You need practice.
Yeah, you need to practice. So we got a little bit more of a treat now that we've gone through what Gary carries as his everyday carry gun and talked about it. But he brought something that I didn't expect to get to see, and I'm a little bit fascinated. I want to share that with you guys today. Like I said, this was a total surprise for me, but I'm going to grab it right quick, and Gary's going to make sure it's unloaded because he's familiar with it. Some of you guys know what this is. Some of you might not. There you go, Mr. Gary.
Totally unloaded.
Totally unloaded. All right. So, Gary, tell them the story about that gun.
When I was 16 years old, that was a long time ago, my dad and I went into the Western Auto Store in Adkins, Arkansas, that Joe Hageman owned. And he had a gun rack back there. And this gun stood out to me. So I put it on layaway. And I worked all summer to pay this gun off. And I can't remember if it was $80 or what. it was back then.
Oh my gosh.
But you know we made 75 cents an hour. It took a while.
Yeah, but that was a brand new gun
This
too.
is a new gun. I've killed deer with it, and I have shot hundreds of rounds, probably thousands of rounds through it, and it shoots good. And as long as you keep this gun clean, you'll not have a jamming issue with it.
Now, what I want people to see, and I'm going to borrow this from Gary, I want to get it close so you guys can see it. Look at the condition of that gun. Now, I just done the math in my head a while ago. I believe 61 years ago he bought this gun. 61 years old. That gun looks nearly brand new. When he told me he bought that at 16, I thought, I have never seen any gun in that good a condition at that age. So you guys are getting a treat today. And I've owned 2 or 3 of these little old 30 calibers.
Yeah, 30 caliber carbine.
Yeah.
M1 30 caliber carbine.
And they are zippy little rounds. They're fun to shoot. They don't have a lot of recoil, and they're just, well, it's a little carbine, you know, light, short. Heck of a truck gun right there, guys.
You betcha.
Now I'm going to show you guys the ammo in this, because some of you know exactly what this is and some of you don't. We're going to lay that right there. I don't want to drop that after I'm taking care of it that good for that many years. And right there, guys, is, I'm going to see if I can get one of these out of here to show you. But right there, look at that, 30 caliber, long brass. Looks more like a pistol round, with the exception that it has a different rim on it. It has a rim like an automatic would have. But that's a nice gun, Gary. I'm thankful you brought that out and we were able to share that with our audience. Because like I said, a lot of people don't get to see something like that. So, fellas, here we are, just 2 old men talking and visiting. And it's amazing at our history. Gary touched on how young it was when he started learning to shoot. And I guess the thing I take away from this video today is this, is that times have changed. The weapons hadn't changed any much. I mean, there's some updated weaponry, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But the mindset of people from that day and time to this day and time has changed a lot. And what's interesting is the powers that be keep going after the guns.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw a thought out here, just something for you guys to think about. What if we started changing the mindset, teaching our kids moral behavior, responsibility, things like that? Might change the world we're living in, make it a better place, guys. It may not be the things that the politicians are going after that is the answer to it, but it might be that families were always important, and they still are important. And if they stay together, they pray together, and they work together, and they train together, they eat together, you're going to have a lot better people in this world.
That's right.
All right, guys. Gary, thank you for coming out and helping me do this video. And we'd like to have you out again sometime if you don't mind.
Anytime.
So with that, guys, we're going to close this video out. May God bless. Have a good day.